Hello everyone, I'm RecV5,
And I am Sandman99.
and welcome back to The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition with Winter Frost.
Yes, and in the last episode, we traveled from High Hrothgar over here to Darkfall Cave.
Indeed.
And that took pretty well all the episode just to get there. And of course, we had to, fight the usual enemies on the way and all that kind of stuff.
Because everything in Skyrim wants to kick your ass.
Because everything in Skyrim wants to kick my ass, yep. And now, looks like we need a little bit of night vision, and I sense very powerful blood nearby. Maybe instead of predator vision, we'll just go with night vision. Just to make things a little bit lighter.
I guess it is pretty dark in here.
Yeah. Yeah, even with the torches. Here. Okay. So, we will go across here, have a look around. See, who takes care of the torches in these, like caves, right? Because it's a cave. There's nobody around.
Yeah, why are there torches around?
Well, and it's in every cave in Skyrim, right? They've all got torches in them.
It would be one thing if there was, like, sconces there, or places to put your torch or something.
Well,
but,
well, there must be, like, a guild of, cave torch maintenance people or something. I guess I'll shoot this spider with my forsworn arrow here. I collected a few forsworn arrows by pulling them out of my body after being pin-cushioned by a group of forsworn on the way here. Which is why I have forsworn arrows. Wow, look at that. They spit cold.
looks like that's a very tough spider.
Yeah, they are. They're tough. They're even deadlier than the big ones that you encounter out in the world. Like the what do you call them? What do you call those ones?
Oh, the
giant tundra spiders. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the cursed frostbite spiders, if they're not worse, they're at least in the same league as the tundra spiders are.
I guess they don't move as fast because they aren't as big, right?
That's right. They can't run as fast, so you can run away from them if you really, really need to.
But chances are you really, really need to.
Well, that depends. I mean, by now, of course, our hero here is pretty tough. And, poison doesn't really bother vampires very much. So, it could be worse. There are far worse enemies out there. Well, this is a nice solid looking bridge, isn't it? Did I hear something? Ooh, gotta mine this moonstone ore vein. So anyway, I'm going to try and be cheerful about it, but I just wanted to comment that recently, the last couple of weeks or so, basically, we've been getting stifled quite a bit by the algorithm again.
Yeah, well, it was ever since I started the Diablo 2 series, we had like a huge hit on that. That ended up getting almost 500 views, and then everything else got crushed to like below 20.
Yeah, because it seems to be a trend. As soon as we get a video that gets a lot of attention, all of a sudden the algorithm comes back and basically flatlines us for the next 2 or 3 weeks afterwards.
Yep.
And that one got a lot of impressions. It was shown to like 6,500 people or something as well, and got, you know, quite a, like, several hundred views. And then the very next episode after that, which is basically the same content, I don't think even got 500 impressions.
Yep.
Like, basically it was just completely crushed, right?
Yep.
And that makes absolutely no sense. And that, of course, has happened with every video we've put out in the last 2 to 3 weeks since that first Diablo 2 came out.
Except for golf, but the only people who watch golf are the golf people.
Yeah, but anyway, folks, help us out a little bit. Give us a like if you like what we're doing here. Wow, look at this, I'm surfing. Because I've got the water walking thing going on, right? I'm going to have to remove the water walking gear in order to be able to fit through here.
I wonder if you can jump backwards and fit through the left side.
No, this current's too
there
strong.
There you go. Oh, you got under.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah.
Stick to the left.
Surfing in Skyrim. Here we go. Wow, look at all the spiders. Ooh. But they can't keep up. Oh, there.
I don't even know if you should waste your time drawing an arrow.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll switch to weapon here. And where are we at here? We'll go with Elemental Fury.
Yeah, we have certain niche series that always get the same number of views no matter what the algorithm is doing.
Football is pretty consistent, although it never really gets a huge amount of views, but it's still pretty consistent.
Yeah, our football people watch football and our golf people watch golf.
Yeah, but some of the other series, like this one, for example, can on occasion get a large number of views.
Yeah, 200 or even 300 views on a single episode.
And then after that, for the next month, basically,
it'll get like 12.
It gets like nothing, right? And I'm pretty sure that in spite of whatever lies YouTube tries to tell us about how the algorithm works, I'm fairly certain that unless you get like a 25% click-through rate and 10,000 views, well, they're not going to be showing your thumbnails to people who might be interested in watching your content, right?
Yep.
Because they want to cater to whoever they think is going to make them the most money the most quickly, right?
Well, and also we do the long-form video thing too, right?
Yeah. And
which isn't necessarily the most popular.
Yeah, but still, it's the chicken and egg thing, right? If you don't get any impressions, then you're not going to get
people to
views.
watch them. Yep.
And the way that their algorithm seems to be set up is if you don't get views, then the next time around you don't get impressions, right?
Yeah, and just to clarify for what an impression is just basically like YouTube showing your thumbnail in somebody's recommended video stream.
Yeah, the crazy thing is,
side of the interface.
The crazy thing is we've got almost 600 subscribers, and yet we can't get, even that many impressions on some videos now.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is, but anyway, I know it's taken a while to get around to this, but I think that it could help us with the
algorithm. If people
the algorithm, if people comment and give us likes, if they interact with us, I think that does affect the algorithm a certain amount.
You believe so?
I think so, yeah. Because I've seen on occasion, but then again though, I've also seen some videos we put out recently that got quite a few comments and quite a number of likes, but it didn't translate to views either.
Which doesn't make any sense
Which doesn't make any sense either, because those are supposed to be things that are criteria for generating impressions, right? So, anyway, I have no understanding of how the algorithm works. It's never been properly explained, because YouTube, when they do, finger quotes, explain it, use word salad, basically.
Yeah, you went and did a whole bunch of research. You were like watching through all their videos and everything, trying to be like what they recommend to creators.
It's basically word salad and circular logic, right? That's what it is. That's how they explain things. So, really, I think that at the end of the day, all we can do is say to people that watch, if you like our content, then, like I said, give us a comment. Indicate that you like our content. Give us a like. It'll help us, maybe. Maybe.
Maybe. Well, all you can do is try, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get away from that now and back to business here. So that was quite the thing. What do you think of my surfing, hey?
Yeah, well, see, and I told you, you just had to jump to the left there, because the left-hand side was taller than the right-hand side of that cave.
Okay, so we appear to be in a, what is this, a three-way, four-way intersection? Four-way?
Four-way intersection, but one of the ways is...
Well, one of the ways is really, really short.
Yeah, although turn hard left. There's a possible exit passage there.
Yeah. Although that might be something that's open from the other side, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see what we've got here to pick up. Cure poison. No, we don't care about that. Resist fire.
Money.
Resist fire. I've got so much money I'll never spend it all. I've got 20,000 gold pieces, and that's after buying the house in Solitude.
Take the money. Take the money.
Okay. Because I don't squander all my money on heavy armor training like some people do.
Hey, you need to have the heavy armor training, because heavy armor doesn't level up nearly fast enough in this game.
Actually, in my game it does, because I'm using the Ordinator perk tree by Enai Scion. And if you choose the basic perk at the bottom of the tree for armor, like say for light armor, for example, it says here you gain a small amount of light armor experience when wearing at least 2 pieces of light armor in combat. So you slowly, you know, it's not just, oh, I just got hit for a whole whack of damage, so now I gained a little bit of armor experience. It's basically you gain a little bit of armor experience by actually wearing the armor and using it.
Yep.
Right? Which kind of makes sense. I actually kind of like that. I wish that he had kept the other 3 steps, you know, like at the bottom of this, so that, for example, like a lot of the weapon, like even this one here in vanilla, you had 5 steps, right?
That's right, yep.
And you could eventually get your light armor mastery up to, so you had 5 out of 5 there, which would, I think, give you a 100% buff to armor value or something?
I think that's what it did in heavy armor, at least.
Yeah, and the same thing with the weapon
did.
trees too, right? Like even though I've got 93 skill in archery here, I don't do nearly as much damage with a bow as I would in vanilla, because in vanilla by now I'd have 5 steps at this particular perk here and do double damage.
Yep.
Right. So, you know, like he added a lot of interesting features into the perk tree thing. It looks like this is a dead end too. But he also took away a lot of things, right? Well,
and you have to realize too, though, a lot of mods aren't necessarily created with, say, master or legendary difficulty in mind. Like, they're created with lower difficulty settings in mind.
Yeah, I suppose, eh? Oh,
especially things like, I think even, for example, like immersive creatures is another good example, right? With the boosted statistics, if you have it with the boosted statistics option on, which is the default.
Yeah.
Things are like ungodly powerful, even on master difficulty, even if you were to play through on master.
Yeah, well, I'm playing on legendary here.
Yeah, and some of these things have an ungodly number of hit points, right?
Yeah, well, especially...
like the dragons.
Yeah, especially dragons, they're pretty crazy. That being said, though, I'm not sure if I can see it in here or not. No, I can't see it in here, but it is... I remember I was looking at my mod list here the other day, and I do have a mod that I'm running that reduces incoming damage a little bit on legendary. So it's basically like a damage rebalance.
Yep.
So that it's a little bit more forgiving. It's still a little tougher than master, but it's not quite as brutal as you know, vanilla legendary is, right?
Yeah, well, it's like such a ridiculous. I can't remember what it is. You deal 25% damage,
yeah,
and take like an extra 75% damage. I can't remember how it all works out.
Yeah, well, I can remember playing on legendary before I had this mod, and you know, playing an archery type character, because I tend to favor that particular playstyle. And I was in the caves under Helgen, sneaking up on those frostbite spiders. And I literally, I kid you not, I had to shoot I only had, because I was beginning, it was the beginning of the game. I had to shoot a frostbite spider that I encountered down there 20 times to kill it. And that was from ambush, like sneak up on it, you know, take a shot from ambush and then sneak away.
Yep.
Because I was playing alternate start too, right?
Yeah, here you go. So here's the actual damage multipliers. It's you do 25% damage, outgoing damage with your weapon. So you take a basically a 75% damage penalty.
Yeah.
On legendary, and then everything does 3 times damage to you. Just like a flat multiplier of 3 times damage. Everything does triple damage.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that the mod that I installed basically makes it, I think, double and half. Right? Like I do half damage.
Which is equivalent to master difficulty in vanilla.
And receive double damage.
Yep.
But I think they also boost statistics for creatures in Master, Legendary, and so on too, right?
Let's see here.
I don't like the look of this.
Or maybe it's I still take the 3 times damage, but I do a little bit more outgoing damage or something. I don't remember.
Probably
now.
that.
I don't remember, to be honest with you. I'd have to look up the mod again to see what it does. And there is a troll that Kine wants dead. Kine wants that troll dead. Oh, he moved.
Oh, here you go. Listen to this, too. The difficulty modifier doesn't decrease player damage dealt, but rather NPC damage taken. And while the distinction might seem odd, it means that enemies do the same reduced damage to each other that you do.
Oh, okay.
Meaning that, or making companions and conjured Atronachs and undead incredibly useful.
Yeah.
Which would explain your natural gravitation towards such things.
Yeah, well, it's always very helpful. Actually, in this game, it is in fact helpful to have, you know, like pet spells and
yeah, because the player damage taken multiplier only applies to you. It doesn't apply to your followers, and it doesn't apply to your summons.
Yeah, because I know that you can see that a substantial amount of damage is done, say, by the Avenging Wraith, you know, when it shoots those plasma balls or whatever it is that it's shooting at enemies, and when it hits the enemies, you can actually see a substantial amount of health come off of their health bar, right?
And yet, that's actually with the reduced damage.
Yeah.
But, yeah, basically all the enemies have a pillow fight with each other, and then they swing the sack of oranges at you.
Okay. Anyway, like I said, I don't remember the exact way that the mod that I have that adjusts things a little. Ooh, I just tripped over a bone.
You have nothing to fear here.
It's Gelibor. It's Gelibor.
I am Knight Paladin Gelibor. Welcome to the great chantry of Auriel.
How's it going?
Auriel, Auriel, Halkosh, Akatosh, so many different names for the sovereign of the snow elves.
Oh, so you're a
I
Falmer?
prefer snow elf. The name Falmer usually holds a negative meaning to most travelers.
He doesn't look like a
Those
Falmer.
twisted creatures you call Falmer, I call the betrayed.
Oh.
Of course, you're here for Auriel's bow. Why else would you be here? I can help you get
That's
it,
why we're
but
here.
First, I must have your assistance.
Okay. So what kind of
I need you to
assistance?
kill Archcurate Vertha, my brother.
Okay, how come?
The kinship between us is gone. I don't understand what he's become, but he's no longer the brother I once knew. It was the betrayed. They did something to him. I just don't know why Auriel would allow this to happen.
What did they do?
Swept into the chantry without warning. and began killing everyone without pause.
Okay.
The Chantry was a place of peaceful worship. I led a small group of paladins, but we were no match for the Betrayed's sheer numbers. They slaughtered everyone and stormed the inner sanctum, where I believe they corrupted Vertha.
Okay, so you don't even know if he's still alive.
I've seen him, but something's wrong. He never looks as though he's in pain or under duress. He just stands there and watches, as though waiting.
Okay.
Leaving
tried
the
getting
Wayshrines
in?
unguarded would be violating my sacred duty as a Knight Paladin of Auriel. And an
There's
assault
always
on
got to be
Betrayed
some kind of an
guarding the
excuse
inner
as to
sanctum
why these
would be
NPCs can't handle their own problems.
Always.
Yes, let me show you.
I love the one from remember the two guys that own the bar in Diamond City,
Yep.
and the one guy gets kidnapped by Bull, and his brother says, I have to stay here, so because someone has to stay here at the bar, so I need you to go rescue my brother, right? And it's like, yeah, but if he was really your brother, you'd be totally, going to rescue him yourself, and the bar be damned, right?
Yep.
Prelates of the shrines were charged with teaching the mantras of Auriel to our initiates.
What's that basin in the center signify?
Once the initiate completed his mantras, he'd dip a ceremonial ewer in the basin at the Wayshrine center and proceed to the next Wayshrine.
So these initiates had to lug around a heavy pitcher of water. Marvelous. How long would they have to do that?
Well, once the initiate's enlightenment was complete, he'd bring the ewer to the Chantry's inner sanctum. Pouring the contents of the ewer into the sacred basin of the sanctum would allow him to enter for an audience with the Archcurate himself.
All that just to end up dumping it out? Makes no sense to me.
It's symbolic. I don't expect you to understand.
So, let's get this straight. We need to do all that nonsense to get into the temples so we can kill your brother and claim Ariel's bow.
I know how it all sounds. But if there was another way, I'd have done it long ago. The only way to get to my brother is by following in the Initiate's footsteps and traveling from Wayshrine to Wayshrine, just as they did. The first lay at the end of Darkfall Passage, a cavern that represents the absence of enlightenment.
Okay.
There are 5 in total, spread far apart across the Chantry.
Okay, so these caves are big.
Caves? Oh no. The Chantry encompasses far more than a few caves, as you'll soon discover. But before I send you...
Yeah, it's like a small country.
Once you've located a Wayshrine, there'll be a spectral prelate tending to it. They will allow you to draw the waters from the shrine's basin, as if you've been enlightened.
Okay.
This may be the last time we're able to converse. If you have any questions before you leave, I suggest you ask them. Otherwise, all I can do now is grant you my hopes for a safe journey.
Okay. So I guess now we have to survive Darkfall Passage. We're pretty tired, though. It looks to me like I need to have a nap first.
I expected as much.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of nap, when you go and have your nap, we should pause so that I can go and refill my drink.
Wow, thirsty again already?
Oh man, I had like 2 chicken burgers today, so like it was so salty.
Well, okay. Here we go, pausing.
And we're back.
Yes, and I know I did this off camera. I shouldn't have, but I actually hypnotized Knight Paladin Gelibor and then fed on him. You can see my fang marks in his neck there.
Yep.
And it turns out that Gelibor is actually a... go to Better Vampires here. Miscellaneous. Oh no, wait a minute. We don't need to do that. We can go here. Okay, Gelibor is actually a special feeding victim.
Wow.
So just like Maven Blackbriar and Delphine.
Yep.
Right? So look at this. I've actually got 15% resistance to dragon attacks, and I'm still getting my ass handed to me by them, right?
Yep.
But anyway, and I've got Maven's blood, and now I've got Gelibor's blood, which I guess gives me a buff to two-handed skill, and a buff to divine blessings if I happen to get a divine blessing at a shrine, I guess.
Yep.
So anyway, there are certain individuals in the world who are considered to be special feeding victims, and those individuals give you a as a better vampire's vampire, they give you a buff to your abilities, right?
And two-handed skill is the most important skill of all, of course.
Well, unless you're, an archer. But anyway.
Speaking of which, with regards to small countries, I was talking to some Americans the other day.
Yeah.
And they were they were like from, places like New York and Washington and Virginia and a few other places, Maine. And we brought up the subject of Texas. And they were trying to tell me how large Texas was.
Yeah, it's about as big as Alberta.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit bigger.
2% bigger. It's only about 2% bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you guys know that Texas is only about 2% bigger than Alberta, right? And that almost every Canadian province is that big.
Yeah, Alberta, I don't think in square miles is even the biggest of the Canadian provinces, right?
Nope, not even close.
Yeah, because I think British Columbia is pretty big.
I believe Ontario is still the biggest.
And Ontario is very big too, yeah.
Yeah. Quebec might be very big
but
as well.
But basically every province in Canada with
is Texas-sized.
With the exception of the maritime provinces.
Yeah, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland and Labrador, Prince Edward Island, those ones.
Yeah. Basically every province with the exception of those maritime provinces,
they're all Texas size.
Are all Texas size. Yeah, they're all the size of Texas, basically. What the hell's going on here? Okay, well, we'll. Wow.
Yeah, those things are
fairly
nasty.
tough. Yeah, I should probably use my shout on them, right?
Probably, yep.
But anyway, I guess we'll do a little healing now. But yeah, like basically, even the three territories are all like Texas size too, right?
I think the Northwest Territories might even be bigger.
Yeah.
Than Texas.
Well, the Northwest Territories used to be like a continent-sized territory, right? Until they split it into two.
Yeah, they split it into Northwest Territories and none of it. That was within both of our lifetimes that happened.
That wasn't that long ago, only about 20 years ago, I think.
Yep.
But even the Yukon territories too, it's a large landmass, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know. I mean, people who don't live in this part of the world may not necessarily understand
how large it is.
How large.
But we're like 2.2 times larger than Germany.
Yeah.
As a province.
Alberta is, yeah.
Yeah.
And like a country, I can harvest blood from this farmer.
Germany's a big country.
There, now I've harvested all the blood that I needed to harvest to take back to Sigma Sectinus, right? But yeah, I mean, even a country like Britain, I think, like the United Kingdom, I think can fit into Alberta like 3 or 4 times, right?
So they actually have a website for this. So Alberta is 1.85 times larger than Germany.
Yeah.
So, and Germany is a country, so if we were to take a look at the UK, we are 2.72 times as big as the UK.
Yeah, okay. So almost 3 times, right?
And in spite of all that...
Yeah. But the entire country of Canada has less people in it than the state of California.
That's right. Well, we have 40 million now. So we might be up to about a little over California now. But Alberta here only has like, I don't know, 4.2 million people or something.
Yeah, we're not very heavily populated here in this part of the world.
In an area the size of Texas, we have 4.2 million people. And 1.5 million of those people live in each of the 2 large cities. And then the rest of them are distributed throughout the rest of the entire province.
Yep. And I come from a part of Alberta in the far north where, you know, like there's the biggest town is like 7,000 people, and that's the biggest town like within 100 miles or so, right?
Yep.
Who's there?
Yeah, that whole area up there makes kind of like a small network of big town, or sorry, like towns that are close to each other, but there are no big cities, right?
Yeah. Well, and also you have to kind of take close to each other with a grain of salt too, because you know, like I went to on a trip to Chicago once, and you know, when I was in the plane looking out the window, and even when I was like, I went to the Sears Tower, right? And they have this like walkway like near the top of the Sears Tower where you can look out, and it's just about like looking out the window of an airplane, actually.
Yep.
And you can see the land, and even when you're driving through the countryside outside of Chicago itself, like just in the state of Illinois, it doesn't look terribly different than parts of Alberta, except that the small towns are like 5 miles apart, right? You know, like instead of you drive past a small town and then you might not see another small town for an hour.
Yep.
Right? Like here in Alberta. Well, you see another small town every 3 or 4 minutes.
Yep.
There. Like that's the difference, right? You know, like you would think that with the number of people that they have living in the state of Illinois, that they'd almost be living on top of each other, but it's actually not the case.
Still, though, you know, this big, vast open space that we live in is what I'm used to, because I've actually never really left the province here.
Yeah.
Where'd you come from?
Well, I can honestly tell you that life is as good here as it is anywhere else.
Better, according to the statistics.
Yeah.
That's mostly a cost of living thing, right?
Yeah.
Done and done.
Okay, where's the tripwire for that nasty looking trap? See the claw trap there? All ready to swing around and
You snuck attack with the healing spell.
did I? Oh. Okay, well, or is the okay, well, quick save just in case I get whapped in the mouth with that trap, because I can't see the, oh, it looks like the tripwire is already broken. See, that's the remains of it right there.
Yeah, we're 1.2 times larger than France. Just Alberta.
Yeah, and that's a country of like how many million people?
That's a good question. Let's see. $68 million people.
Wow. So, yeah. Well, I could see, you know, like a land mass the size of Alberta being able to fairly easily accommodate that many people, actually. Just because we have a lot of empty space up here. I'm starting to run low on arrows. Huh. But yeah, I've lived in Alberta for almost all my life. briefly, like for a year or two here and there in other provinces and in the Yukon territories for a couple of years.
Yep.
But to be honest with you, life is good in Alberta, and I found that in my adult life, at least for the most part, I was able to stay pretty consistently employed,
Where'd you come from?
and that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, we have a strong economy here. And also a high standard of living.
Yeah.
Although, the cost of living and affordability is,
I'm not gonna die like this.
a bit tongue-in-cheek when it comes to Canada and housing prices and things like that. Since
Well,
we have one of
you
the
know
most inflated housing markets in the world.
Things are still better in Alberta than they are, say, in Ontario or British Columbia.
Yeah, you can get a house for $500,000 instead of $1.5 million.
Yeah. Well, I can remember, back in like 1989, I made a trip to Vancouver. And one of my buddies that lived in that area, well, a friend of a friend, I didn't really know the guy, but he was, we were going golfing or something, and we were driving past a house that was sitting on the corner of the street, and it was a pretty regular looking house.
Yep.
And he says, you know how much that house went for? Because it just sold recently. And he said, no, we don't really know. And he said $1 million. So they had $1 million houses that looked like regular houses here in Alberta.
Back in 1989.
Back in 1989.
Or not in Alberta,
in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So property values were stupidly high even back then.
Yep.
And not only that, but this guy was living in a basically bachelor pad type apartment, and it did have a separate living room and a separate bedroom, right?
Yep.
But it was like a shared space kitchen living room kind of a deal. But the living room in that place was small enough that I could almost reach my hands out and touch both walls on the opposite walls.
Yep.
That's how small this place was, and he was paying, I don't know, like, I can't remember now exactly, but I think he was paying closer to $1,000 a month than not. And that was back in 1989, right?
Which is crazy.
Yeah, but it was in like the middle of Vancouver, near the waterfront, and he had a fantastic view off of a balcony that was basically the entire width of his apartment. Which wasn't really that terribly wide. Like, the balcony was big enough to put a couple or three lawn chairs out there and maybe a barbecue. Uh-oh.
Where'd you come from?
I don't know. It just seems to me like in the second largest country in the world, we should have enough land space that everybody can have a standalone home.
Well, you know what? For the few people that, because we have such a low number for people per square mile.
Something like
property values in this country should be in the toilet, right?
Yep.
But the thing is that if you want to live anywhere within 100 miles of a town somewhere, well, then real estate is expensive, right? Even though it shouldn't be.
Yeah, 10.2 people per square mile.
Yeah.
Which makes us the 10th least densely populated country in the world. But yet then if you read the paper or other things like that, they tell us that we're running out of land.
Yeah, I don't see that. We're running out of land that developers own, that they have bothered to invest money into develop. And they, I think what the part of the problem is that a lot of this land is owned by somebody, but they're just holding on to it because right now it's not worth it for them to invest and develop in because of a lack of people, right?
Either that or it belongs to parks or things like that.
Yeah. But yeah, I've heard, you know, for a long time now, I've heard horror stories of people who have a 2-hour commute one way in Vancouver just to get to work.
Which is
right?
ridiculous.
Because they can't afford to live anywhere near where they work, right?
Yo, you're even saying things like people start getting paid just to drive to work.
Yeah, the one company I worked for would pay these people during their commute to and from work, too. Well, I think basically they were being paid a salary, but the indicator was that they would spend 2 hours getting to work, and then they'd work for 5 or 6 hours, and then they'd go home. You know? But obviously these were the people who were not working the shift work and that kind of thing. These were the engineers and the managers and that kind of thing, right? They weren't the working schmucks. Wow, I can't believe that guy totally missed me at that range.
Yeah, I don't know. It just makes me wonder how we can be such a large country, but then we can have housing prices as expensive as some small European countries.
Yeah, well, it's criminal, basically. I can remember watching an exchange between a conservative member of parliament. I think he was like one of the... because they have these positions called critics.
Yeah.
Right? Who I think are the equivalent of some of the... like sort of official positions that they have in Congress or in the Senate that oppose the leadership of the party that's currently in power, right?
Yeah.
So they have a finance critic and they have, you know, like that kind of thing, right? And the guy who was the finance critic at the time, I believe, was questioning the guy who was in charge of, you know, one of the offices in the government that had to do with housing, the housing minister or something. I don't know what all the titles are, but I think it was something like that. And he was asking him, you know, can you tell us what the average price of a home in Canada is? And this guy would stand up with a real smug look on his face and give some kind of a word salad reply that had absolutely nothing to do with the question that was asked.
Yeah,
right?
and claiming that the economy was strong. I think I saw that.
Yeah, and this went on for several minutes where this smug little shit would stand up every time the critic would try and ask him this question. when
not actually answer the question.
When not actually answer the question, which is actually a relatively simple question, right? That I'm sure he knew the answer of, which is the average home in Canada costs $750,000 or something in the neighborhood of that, right?
Oh, it actually, I think in back in 2023, it actually hit $800,000 for a period of time, and that's across all provinces.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he wouldn't answer the question, right? Because it would make them all look bad. And, you know, it would obviously lead into other questions like, well, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Because you can't tell me that in a country of, you know, like, that is basically geographically the second or third largest country in the world that has a population of less than 40 million people, you can't tell me that it's a supply and demand thing.
Well, I can't say what will fix the problem now, though, because I remember hearing some other place on an economics YouTube channel that housing now is responsible for like 20% of the Canadian economy.
Yeah.
So there's no way that housing prices are ever going down now.
Yeah. Oh, well. It makes me glad that I bought my place when I did, because...
They spiked right after that.
The year after I bought my place, basically the price more than doubled. And I'm not kidding, it actually more than doubled in a year. Okay.
Yeah, it's getting to a point now where even in smaller towns, it's not so cheap anymore. like for a time, you could kind of maybe take solace if you could find work in a smaller town, that at least the smaller town was more affordable, but now it's not even like that anymore.
No. Yeah, well, I mean, it's really something when, you know, you can buy a house, and even accounting for the difference in the dollar and that kind of thing, I mean, you can buy a house in an equivalent house to what you can buy here in the United States and pay like a quarter of what it costs here.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, you know, like it's probably a little bit more than that when you take into account the
Well, it depends on where you buy
relative worth of the Canadian dollar versus the American dollar and all that kind of stuff. But you know, that is an economy where it would be a supply and demand kind of a situation, particularly in that country.
Well, again, it depends on where you buy it too. Like, for example, a state like Oklahoma, I think, has the lowest cost of living, and so you'll find more of the cheapest houses there.
Yeah.
Whereas a state like Nebraska is kind of average, and in housing prices in a place like California or New York are going to be similar to what they are in Alberta.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. But still, though, those are the...
Those are the less affordable areas.
Yeah, those are the least affordable areas, right? Which is comparable to the most affordable area in Canada, right?
Yeah, because we have like the most inflated housing market ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you even given the fact that our money is worth less than the Americans, if you could build up a healthy savings and then buy a house across the border, you could do that. It would be cheaper for you to do that.
Oh well. Anyway, I guess that by the time I am ready to go sit in the old folks' home and you know, drool and stare vacantly, then at least my house will sell for about probably 4 or 5 times what I paid for it.
Yeah, fuck.
I forget what the hell I was going to do now. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, all right, I think I was going to... I can't remember what I was going to do now. Too much talking and not enough playing here, and I lost track of what I was going to do.
Yes, we were far too focused on housing prices.
Yeah. And it appears that there's no quest marker leading me toward Darkfall Passage, which I am supposed to survive.
Well, you'll find it eventually.
Oh, well, we need those. I'm starting to run a little low on arrows.
He died doing the splits.
Yep. Oh, that must be one of those little alarm type traps, right? I guess we're going this way now. But anyway, it's just fun to do comparisons, I guess. But just to give you an idea, back around 2000, I actually went on a trip to Nashville one time too. And, you know, like the people who were kind of touring us through the area, we were driving on one of the freeways, and from the freeway you could see a subdivision of houses.
Yep.
And it was nothing fancy, you know, like they were regular houses, but they were on yards that were like huge, right?
Yep. Yeah,
and
the average lot size in America is like double that in Canada.
And I asked the guy who was touring us around, like, how much a house like that cost in Nashville, and he told me about $75,000 US.
Yep.
And that was less than what I paid for the place that I live in here, which is basically a row housing townhouse with a little postage stamp yard in the front.
Yep.
Right? So, and that was, you know, just an example of that. Okay, we got a guy using invisibility here, so I'm going to switch to...
Oh, his invisibility just ran out.
Yeah, he'll use it again, though, right away, probably. Unless I can sneak up on him maybe and stab him in the back. Oh, he's seen
Nope.
me already. Okay, why the hell isn't that working? Because I don't have it selected. There, now it'll work.
All the attack speed, all the time.
All the attack speed, all the time. Oh, see that? It's the railing cover again, right?
Yep, the railing of perfect cover.
The railing of perfect
It's enchanted.
cover.
There you go. Think of it that way. It's enchanted.
Yeah, I can't shoot through it. Oh well. While I'm healing here, I guess Serana can kick these guys' asses anyway.
Yeah, they barely seem focused on her, too. Looks like they were trying to find their way out through bad pathfinding.
Yeah. Maybe. Oh, eggs, yeah.
Yeah, what I foresee in the future is they're not going to solve the housing price problem. What they're probably just going to do is start building like high-rise apartments for everyone.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to guess. And then they'll say that they reduced the price of housing. That's what they'll say.
Yeah.
Who's there?
Yeah, I have to say that Elemental Fury Shout is extremely powerful tool. Like you saw how quickly I just mowed right through those guys, right?
Yeah, shouts make a huge difference in this game. They're a whole other step of lethality.
Yeah. And some of these Falmer you can eat, and some of them you can't. I'm not really too sure why. But I guess some of them are a little closer to human than others or something, maybe? I don't know. Wow, look at all this good stuff that I find in here. And I can't carry too much more here.
You're at 346 out of 500.
Yeah, I am.
You can still
Okay.
carry plenty.
So I guess that probably we're going this way now, right?
Yep.
Okay, which way? This way or that way?
Watch the tripwire.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll back up a little bit. There.
Where'd you
There. So one of our viewers had commented that he thought maybe that I should get more followers. But what I did here is I just demonstrated why, although I am able to have multiple followers, I often don't. And it's because in situations like this, having one follower is enough.
Yeah, well, they can get in the way in terms of
Because
melee
yeah,
combat.
if I had 2 or 3 followers with me here, basically now all of a sudden I'm just watching while they kill everything, you know? Because I'm afraid to make attacks and things like that in case I hit my teammates by mistake, right?
Yep.
And also it's kind of a nuisance in that a lot of times your teammates, especially ones like Serana that are not exactly very responsible in their use of spells,
Tend to set off everything,
will tend to set off everything,
and also tend to friendly fire you.
and also will piss off your other
Companions.
So then the next thing you know, they're fighting with each other, which is one of the reasons why I got the chill pill mod, right?
Yep.
What happens if I trigger this? I don't see anything here. See anything?
Well, you could always F5.
Yeah.
F5 is your friend.
Yep. Or in this case, I have a quick save that's handy in the menu there. Okay. Not too sure what that did, but it did something.
I heard some kind of metal something or other.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it looks like I got healing potions and deadly lingering poison. What kind of damage does deadly lingering poison do? Deadly lingering poison. Really? Okay.
3 for 20.
Yeah, it's not worth it. The fight is long over by the time 20 seconds goes by, usually. You're either dead or your enemies are. You know, for that long of a lasting poison that does that little damage over that amount of time, it's pointless. Anyway, I guess I'll drink my last stale blood potion here. I think we've basically looted everything that there is to loot in here. Lots of these little huts just don't have anything in them at all. So I guess it's this way that we're supposed to go. And we have a level up available. And there's another tripwire for a boulder trap. Those are nasty, actually. You can be killed by those. Okay, Serana, I need you to get out of the way so I can try and shoot the tripwire here.
You know, you could probably use your get out of the way thing to push her onto the tripwire. Then you could save some arrows.
Yeah, well, the thing is, though, I'd rather set off a trap like that from a distance because I'm not really too sure what it's going to do, right?
Well, you can do it from a distance. Serana is your projectile.
Yeah, and I have been killed. Wow, you know what? I'm running so low on arrows that I'm going to just shoot the silver ones now.
You know, even walking into these rocks too much can hurt you.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm doing the sneak thing and very carefully, you know. Looks like Serana made through there all right, too. Your companions can actually kill... You can kill yourself by running into those rocks, too, even when they're laying on the floor like that, right?
Yep.
Those rockfall traps they're very nasty. Been killed by them before.
Doesn't surprise me.
Especially in dark places like this where you can't see very well. Because just as a reminder, I do have night vision turned on right now too, right?
Yep.
So that's how dark this area is. It would be very dark if I didn't have the night vision activated.
Oh man, I can't imagine how dark it would be on my monitor.
Well, if you look at the right hand monitor there, the one that shows the recording screen,
it's a bit brighter than my monitor.
Is it? I thought it was comparable to your monitor.
Yeah, it's a little bit brighter. It's a little bit brighter than my monitor.
Oh.
Because my monitor's like the darkest thing ever.
So
although if I played Skyrim on the CRT,
yeah.
I wonder if you can run Skyrim in 4:3 aspect ratio though. A lot of games these days don't run in 4:3 aspect ratio anymore. Even though it's like a 1080p CRT, it's like 1440 by 1080.
Okay, well, it looks like this guy here was going to sit here and rest for a bit. And it looks like he ended up sitting here and resting for a really long time.
Yep, for all of eternity.
Old chains and traps. Be careful here. Whatever's on the other side of this, Palmer wanted to keep.
Okay, well, looks like that claw is facing the other way, so I'm probably fine. We'll experiment. Okay. Looks like I picked the right one, I guess.
Feeling nervous?
Well, you got to be careful of. Oh, look, there's a saber cat. Just shoot him in the face.
And then get friendly fired by Serana.
Yep. Oh, there he is. Oh, or is this more of them? Okay. Oh, there's like a baby one over there. I gotta reactivate my elemental fury thing here. I had something else going on. Okay, well, these guys have eyes of saber cats and all that kind of good stuff. So it looks like we've made it to Darkfall Passage.
Hey, here's an idea.
What?
So, in order to subsidize housing prices, the government of Canada can collaborate with Hasbro to release a new edition of Monopoly. The Canadian version.
Yeah. Yeah, except that the Monopoly is probably fairly real, right?
Yeah, well, there you go. But all the proceeds from sales of the board game can go to subsidizing housing prices.
Yeah. Oh, there's something else going now. To tell you the truth, though, I think I'm tough enough. I don't think there's anything in here that I need to be terribly afraid of.
Never saw anything like this back on the island. Who's there?
Where? Well, there's a deer. Oh. Okay. Well, you have that or there's Serana.
Well, those saber cats don't last too long against you.
No. No, I don't think they're as tough as the Falmers were, actually.
It might be something too, like they have the same amount of hit points, but the Falmers have armor.
Yeah.
Where'd you come from?
Nope, you're not going to loot that one.
Nope, not going to loot that one because he's going to fall off the side. And there's that poison bloom thing giving off a pull. Hey, what? Oh. Okay, I guess vampire hunters appear in here.
They're very determined.
I guess so, hey? Okay, well.
I bet you those are the tough ones too. Did you see that damage?
Yeah. I saw that damage. That's why I'm going to take his little toy away from him. We'll, if I can target him here. Come on, where are you? There you are. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Actually, maybe I'll just shoot him with a bow since he's got that fire aura thing here. Oh, okay.
Well, at least you didn't shoot Serana.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a ton of arrows even to kill one of these guys, right?
Hey, you know what would have been very useful?
What?
The lingering poison.
Yeah, maybe, hey. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, well, it's just because that guy has like a ridiculous shitload of hit points that most other enemies don't have, right?
Who are you shooting at now? Oh, there's
Dog
another
guard
one.
stuck over there somewhere.
You got stuck. Okay, well, we'll see if we can spot him here.
Look
Wow,
to
I
the
don't
left.
even- Oh, there he is. He's underwater. Okay. Hey, you know what? Do I have that spell? Let's see if I do. I do.
Yeah, save your arrows.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, it's not like bound bows are not powerful either. Like, they can be, they're like an unsmithed Daedric bow if you have the right perks. And I believe the arrows are equivalent to Daedric arrows too.
Yeah.
He did.
Okay, that takes care of him. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. We'll use the bound bow thing instead of the...
Bowo?
We'll take our silvered arrow, though. Okay, where's this guy's body? I can even loot him from here. Yeah. Guess I could take his silver stuff. Then we'll eat him.
Yeah, you might as well take his crossbow anyways, just in case you run out of projectile weapons.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget to take a sip out of the body of water. Right? Just like it's Fallout 4.
Yeah. No, actually, I can't do that in this one.
No, but that would be funny, right? You go to loot the corpse and then you drink the water.
I can't see where the other guy... Oh, there he is. Okay.
It's the most irritating thing ever.
Yeah, it is. But it is what it is, right? Anyway, we'll just drink this guy's blood too. We'll take all of his stuff. 402 feedings. Yeah, I'm going to take my iron dagger back. Take his bolts too. Okay. So, let's just check something out here, because I got 402 feedings. So we'll check out our vampire's status. Oh, I've got a skill point that I can spend too. Because you get extra skill points every now and again. Okay, so I need 98 more feedings to get to the next rank.
Damn.
Of vampirism. But I can gain another skill point here. Unholy Grasp. Telekinetic power allows you to lift your enemy in the air, draw them toward you, and cast them aside. You can attack them while they hang suspended and vulnerable in front of you. That sounds pretty good. What do you think? Should we get that?
Sure.
Okay, get that.
You'll have to give it a try, too.
Yeah, we'll have to give it a try the next time we come across an enemy that we can actually do that with.
Hungry.
Oh, again? Okay, I guess it's time. Right?
What is it?
Yeah.
Please. It's...
Oh, I guess time just ran out on that saber cat zombie.
It's so good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. But what about you?
Oh, now it's time for another lecture.
Yep.
Okay. So, Isabella is called the Lady of Love. Asks us to seek joy and inspiration,
You brought
the
that
mysteries
up
of
before.
love.
It's like from the stories I used to hear. That's why I like being out here with you. You know about all kinds of things like that.
Okay, what do you remember?
I loved my father, and I was close with my mother.
And then all
My
that
mother, She
changed.
became a different person. They both
That's what happens when your
It was
parents
almost
become
like one day we were a
Satanists, right?
normal family, and the next, I didn't know who they were.
Molag Bal exists to give mortals suffering and strife, not
It's
love.
definitely been a bad thing, on the whole. The moment we gave ourselves to Molag Bal, things got really icy between them. Maybe I could have seen this coming. We could all be better off now.
Yeah, well, you were
I
a
want us
child.
to
It
be a
wasn't
family
your
again.
job. The parents you knew are gone.
I know that in my head, but I miss the flowers.
Okay,
I'm a
you're a
good
good daughter. Yeah.
I'm just completely destroyed inside.
Okay, well,
Yes.
okay. So, love happens. So, just as an interesting side note here, once we're done with Serana, I'm going to maybe go and play through Molag Bal's Inferno.
Ooh.
That's a mod that was actually a pretty famous one back when it came out. It won contests and that kind of thing, because they have like modding contests.
Yep.
And I guess that mod was so well made that it actually won, like modding contests, right? And it's been many years since I've played through it. I didn't even actually have it in my SE lineup. Whoops. Gotta get my healing spell out here again. I didn't even have it in my Skyrim Special Edition lineup for the longest time. And then I discovered it again. And it turned out to be, well, I mean, I actually haven't played it through since I installed it from my, in this game, oddly enough. So that would be a little bit of a breath of fresh air in the same old Skyrim, probably. But that's quite a ways off yet, because we have to finish doing this first. And I think we're coming up to the end of Darkfall Passage, which was actually not that hard to survive.
Here we go.
Now we need to walk around with a partially filled pitcher of water while fighting and running and casting spells and all that kind of stuff, right?
As one does.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk to Prillit Sedanis.
Welcome, Initiate. This is the Way Shrine of Illumination. Are you prepared to honor the mantras of Ariel and fill your vessel with his enlightenment?
You bet.
Then behold Ariel's gift, my child. May it light your path as you seek tranquility within the inner sanctum.
Okay, it's 9:46 a.m., so once he finishes doing this, it'll probably be time to conjure up my coffin and have a nap again. Before going back outside, because I think when we go through this, we end up in an outdoor cell again.
I see.
Yeah, but for now, I don't think I need my predator vision on anymore. And what are we at for time here? I think
we are at about an hour 12.
Okay, well, I think this looks like a logical place to stop. So, in the next episode, we'll put some water in our ewer here, and then we'll move on to the next section.
All right.
This is going to take several episodes anyway, because this area is very big and there's a lot to do.
Yep.
So I guess until next time,
I'm Rec V5.
and I am Sandman99. Hope you all enjoyed this.
Have a good one.